Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Proving Grounds Pod, your one-stop shop for all things Proving Grounds. My name is Smax, and I'm joined by my constant co-host, Cubby. And today, after being completely MIA for like 3.5 weeks, the Proving Grounds season is beginning. We are getting right back into the swing of things. The first OQ for Challengers Uprising begins tomorrow. We are currently recording this on Sunday evening, the 16th. The OQ begins on the 17th. And what better way to celebrate the beginning of a new chapter, a new season, a new split of Proving Grounds than with our good buddy, Raafaa, who we have with us today on this fine episode of the Proving Grounds Pod. Raafaa, how are you feeling on this fine day?
I'm vibing. I'm ready to talk about these teams, and I have something prepared. Who took my fruit basket? I just had it here. Fuck.
Wasn't
Man.
me. Cubby,
well,
what did you do?
Someone took my fruit basket. Well, okay.
I played the fifth.
Well, when we get to that team, then just pretend I have a fruit basket with a bunch of fruits, and we'll talk about it. But
Edible arrangement.
Sorry, I didn't mean to hijack the complete total chill ambience of this podcast. And I know Cubby's face was very alarmed. I'm sorry to have frightened you. We're gonna be okay.
I like surprises.
Yeah. If you're listening to this to wind down and go to sleep, we'll try to keep Raafaa's yelling to a minimum from here on out. We will put him on the leash. Probably not. We got some exciting stuff actually to talk about today. Like I was saying, the Challengers Uprising Open qualifier is beginning tomorrow. The roster sheet has been released, and that's most of what we're going to talk about today, actually. We have 32 teams that are participating. It's all going to be mini brackets, so the top 8 of the tournament just automatically qualifies. You don't have to play anymore after that. So if you want to qualify, you have to win 2 best of 3s, and then you're in. And we've got some pretty strong teams here, I would say, Cubby.
Yeah, let's just skip the bullshit and get right into this, man. It's been way too long to talk about Proving Grounds. It's been a while. It's been a few weeks off. I'm playing too much golf. I'm catching up on too much of my part-time work. I'm ready to get right back into, the actual meat of things.
All right. Well, yeah. Let's look at this. So we're gonna post this link in the Twitch chat yet again. If you haven't seen it, and you're listening to this not live, then you can feel free to DM me on Discord or something, and I'll show you the thing that we're referring to. But we're gonna look at the Challengers Uprising list of teams just right off the bat. Some really cool teams. The first seed actually has some returning faces from last season. Also some new faces. The returning ones, though, are Really Big Meme and Dark Wings. They combined make the mid-jungle duo for Area of Effect Esports, which is a relatively new organization to the Proving Ground scene.
Yeah. So AOE. Spoiler alert. Actually, I was contracted to talk to all 10 of their players, and I've gotten 8 out of 10 done so far. So Fossil and Dark Wings, I would say they're slacking, but I was out today and they both DM'd me. But I've talked to everyone else, and those guys are really excited about their roster. And that is going to be the 1 seed going into this, and a team that we fully expect to qualify in the first OQ, just given the bracket, the fact that the 1 seed and the fact that they come up with this strength. That said, I think despite being the 1 seed, none of us have them as the best team going into Proving Grounds, but a clear contender for top 5.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the teams that's going to make it a competitive tournament, I think. They're most certainly going to qualify. Another caveat is there are 2 OQs. If you fail to qualify in the first one, you can play in the next one.
8 teams
just
from
fine.
Each. Yeah.
Yep, 8 teams from each. There will be a 16-team tournament, same as last season, or last split, rather. But yeah, I think what Cubby's getting at is that we definitely have a pretty solid idea of who the top 4 teams are.
5.
Top 5, you'd say? Okay, that's fine. All of them are actually beneath this team in the seeding for Cup, but this is definitely still a contender. I think based on their seeding alone, they should qualify from this one. And yeah, I'm excited for these new guys. I've been told that Sketch Streams is pretty solid. We got to see Fizzy on TSM Academy, and Faisal is a new face as well. I've been seeing him play in amateur leagues for a while. He's a pretty exciting player that's coming into this team as well. But obviously, RBM is the main guy that we're looking at here.
Yeah.
Is it
Fossil,
or...
someone that Kelsey Moser was really high on.
Wait.
All right, we should lock this in first. How are we saying this word?
Let's lock in this pronunciation because I'm hearing Fossil. I thought it was Faisal.
Faisal? I thought it was Faisal.
Honestly, I've talked to 3 other teammates, and they all pronounce it differently. So I'm just going to wait until I talk to him later tonight.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, all right. Well,
God.
For now, well, let's just call him F-word, because we have no idea how to say it.
All right. F-word's been hyped up, and honestly, I think, without a doubt... Actually, I'm going to take this back. I'll take it back. I never said anything. Keep going.
Cool. Yeah, I think both AoE teams are going to be pretty interesting. They do have a second team, like Cubby mentioned. Let's actually just talk about them real quick.
It's Faisal.
AoE Randoms is their other squad. They've combined forces with the Just Randoms team from last fall.
Oh,
Some of those, there's Chim, there's Short Hop. Is Stan Kato, that's not what his previous name was, right? That's Comp 9, yeah?
Yeah, it's Comp 9. Yeah, it's not Stan Kato.
Okay.
I mean, I think we just get into all these like as we go. Like, do you want to hit on that one next? Because they're like middle of the bracket. They're the 13 seed.
Yeah, we don't have to go to them quite yet. I think that's an exciting team. That was one of the first ones that we got to see as well. We got to see this team like a month ago, announced. Yeah,
they've been playing in UPL because they've been playing UPL.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like you're saying though, Cubby, let's get into the cream of the crop here. Let's talk about what I personally would consider to be the tournament favorite and probably the strongest team in amateur thus far that we've seen. And that's going to be Zeus Gaming. We have the Toilet Paper Cats returning with 3 of the same players. And I think it's fair to say that the 2 that are replaced here actually provide a pretty nice upgrade to this team, which already was a good team.
I would not say upgrade.
Oh, interesting.
No. I think that Darklings was the best mid that we had in amateur last year. That said, Tuesday did drop out of, because obviously they didn't compete in Proving Grounds. I think Tuesday was playing really, really good League of Legends. And I think I had Tuesday listed as my number 1 mid. And I had Darkwings listed as my number 2 mid going into Proving Grounds, one of the end of the year amateur awards. That said, I had multiple GMs from franchised orgs like in my DMs like, hey, why is Darkwings not on an Academy squad? Or, hey, I'm really surprised that Darkwings didn't get picked up by an Academy squad. And quite frankly, I am too. I know that Fire was probably the most hyped prospect we've had, and that's very deserved given the success that he's had in the last 3 splits of amateur. I thought Darkwings, though, was the best performing mid that had not been already on an Academy team. So that would exclude Tuesday. I'm still including Fire in that since he was only in as a sub. I thought Darkwings was the best mid in amateur outside Tuesday last year. I do not think it's necessarily an upgrade, especially because Griffin, he lost his Academy spot to Keel. I think that Griffin and Tuesday have great synergy that goes back quite a while, right? Griffin obviously being Wiggly, not the 14, 15-year-old Griffin. That's the prodigy. This is Griffin, the ex-LCS player, right? To clarify, I think they're going to have really nice synergy potentially going back. I don't think it's a straight-up upgrade, though. And I think that the biggest weakness of Zeus Gaming was the fact that Raheen and Rhino they got 2v2 killed in every single game that Zeus played in Proving Grounds. And if you think that's toxic, go back and watch the VODs because they did. That's how they played the lanes. I know that Raheen and Rhino, I expect them to pick that up, and I expect more consistency out of the 2 of them. If Raheen steps up his lane phase and Rhino gets more consistent, they're amazing prospects that we have in amateur. But that's not the case at the moment. So until I see that, I have a wild card ranked above these guys. But I think that this team is top 2, hands down.
That being said, That being said, there is so much to prove from 3 of these members on this roster. Well, okay, so we can start with 2. So, notably, Griffin being coming down from the CLG Academy roster before. I'm correct, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I doubted myself for a second, but yeah. So the
Never
thing
doubt
is
yourself,
that
Raafaa.
yeah. Griffin being dropped from the CLG Academy roster not only is whenever you have players that come from LCS, then quote unquote demoted to Academy, and now quote unquote dropped for amateur. This leaves a lot of room for redemption and a lot of room for hunger to get back to the top. And if we look at 2 players who have now just fought back into their way into Academy, Viper and Anda, they were in a similar position where people thought that either they were washed up or there's like why are they down here, blah blah blah, right? So I am hopeful that Griffin is going to be someone that looks at this situation and is going to say, I'm going to piss Smurf and try to become and show that I am the best jungle prospect in at least the amateur side of Proving Grounds. You know, whether he can compete with the Academy junglers remains to be seen, but between him and also Tuesday, who, you know, had a unfortunate situation with Solifide, now is looking to stamp his mark as well as the best mid, also fighting for a spot back into Academy.
Okay. So here's my question to you then. With all that being said, with your high expectations for the Revenge Tour, are you more siding with Cubby and saying that this is a side grade to Darkwings and RBM, or are you gonna come over to this camp and say that it is an upgrade overall to the previous zoos?
The thing is, I can agree with Cubby that on paper and based on past results, this would be considered a quote unquote side grade, but I am going to make the bet that Griffin and Tuesday are going to take this shit seriously. Not saying that people are not, like no players aren't taking this seriously, but for them especially, I feel like they have more to lose to not do well. And so that is going to push them harder than any other players.
I mean, high key, I think if Tuesday played in Proving Grounds, he might have been on an Academy roster.
Yeah,
like I
also agree with that.
He was hands down the best mid in amateur, this last split. It was not close, in my opinion. Like, the only person that was close was Darkwings. And so if you're going to sub, like, anything in, like, I'm really high on Darkwings. I think that he's grown a lot as a player and had more room to grow. And so I really think that's a side grade. And RBM, like, keep in mind, when he came in, he wasn't taking the game as seriously. He is now. Like, that guy is grinding his ass off. Like, he was coming from TFT. He was in our chat saying that he hadn't scrimmed in 4 months when he got called upon to sub in for Zeus right off the bat, right?
Black screen, ooh dear.
Right, that's not the case now. RBM is spamming, and he's like 800 LP challenger. And so I think that Griffin, like, I think that it's like me saying it's a side grade is probably not the expectation that a lot of community members have, but that's my expectation.
Sure.
That's no shame on any of the players that are like being swapped out or replaced. I think they're all pretty good. And so I just think it's a side grade, and I think the issue with Zeus was the bot lane, and that's the same. So it's gonna be great for amateur. I'm just not as sure like when we get to the next level. Like, these guys are making it into Proving Grounds if these 5 play.
Yeah. Absolutely they are.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to argue with that at all. I am curious about this team that you've said is your number 1, or at least you've implied it. Wildcard, I'm assuming you're talking about Red.
Yeah,
Wildcard Red.
It's next on the table for us.
Yeah.
So for the rundown for these guys, it is Dokwa, Winston, Bradley, who is Freeze, Arrow,
CP
Daption.
Freeze.
Right? This roster for me is the best roster in Proving Grounds. So Dokla, Winston, these guys come with synergy from Soul Fide. They were a top 3 roster. That was a no-brainer, like right off the bat, right? Arrow coming over, ex-LCS player. Daption, one of the best supports that we had in amateur this last split with Team Luke. I think I have a tough time seeing Arrow, and you can't tell me that Arrow's a straight-up downgrade from Team Luke, even though Team Luke got promoted into Academy, right? That guy comes in with so much experience and leadership. And then Freeze or Bradley mid. If you guys don't believe in this guy at all, watch Collegiate round of 32 or round of 16 or round of 8. And also, I scrim Bethany quite a bit throughout the year with my Collegiate team, Miami. This guy is really good at League, especially melee characters. And I think that I think competitive, this is the ultimate spot for him to really round out his skills, become a better mage player, and he has the pop-offs already under his fingers. So I have a lot of faith in Freeze, and I'm kind of banking on Bradley being a big player in this team, and that's the reason I have them as number 1. I think that he's going to step up. I think Winston's going to step up and prove that he deserves to be at the next level, even though last split he wasn't as good of a jungler as Fnatic or Anda. I think that he can take that next step in his game with this roster, and with Arrow at the helm and Wildcard and their staff, they're my number 1.
I also think that with this squad, another thing that makes them a strong contender, and I can agree with Cubby's reasoning that this could be a top or the number 1 team in Proving Grounds, is that this is one of the orgs with the most dedicated staff and infrastructure in terms of just a straight up, when you're looking at straight up amateur orgs, no LCS affiliation whatsoever, this team is very dedicated to their players.
I do love AoE staff. I think that Pukar and Julius are really good, by the way. Sure. I have of all the people that I've met and run into in Collegiate, Julius is probably top 3 in the people that I have the most respect and look up to the most. And I think for me, how much time he's able to put into this, because I think he's still full-time at Amazon. That's the biggest question, but if he's able to put in time, that guy is wise beyond his years. And I have a lot of faith he's going to be able to help out that roster. But anyway, sorry to cut you off, but moving on.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
No. I like, because when you're looking down the rest of the rosters here, the only other like staff that I would say that is matches or is better in terms of like being able to bring up and develop these players is Evil Genius's Prodigies.
LCS teams.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's an LCS team, right?
Yeah.
So that's why, like, best amateur org staff, definitely my award going over to their coaching staff. I mean, I was super impressed with Morgan and Prussian's work last split. It's a shame that Prussian won't be returning this split as he's taking a break from amateur. But between Morgan and Myra, they love this team. They love developing these players. And, I mean, the results speak for themselves. Look at how many players have now gone on to better things after Spring Split. Team Luke is now going to be on, Evil Genius's Academy, right? If I'm not mistaken?
Yep.
So, like, and then, oh my gosh. Yes. I think there's a lot of faith that can be said in Wildcard Red. Even if this squad doesn't become the ultimate winner of Proving Ground Summer, I think I'm especially looking from fresh players wise, Daption and Bradley, this is their split to really make a name for themselves as like hot new prospects, you know?
Yeah. Well, Daption's already been doing that, in my opinion.
He has.
I'm really excited that Daption has kept that spot and is sort of the returning member of this team. I think that's really cool. I'm super pumped about this as well. I'm also very excited about ADFX coming back as well. And Draw Her, I really appreciate too. I think that with that whole like pack as well, especially with the other wildcard roster too, with some new rookies that we'll get to in a bit. I think just having that internal strategy stuff going on is really valuable. We got to see how crazy that was for EG, especially in Giant Slayer. Those two teams performed super, super well.
I had 3 of my players from Miami compete in the wildcard combine, and they all spoke pretty highly of Jahar. And I'd like to remind everyone in the chat that I did reverse sweep Purdue in a best of 5 in UCL.
Got him.
Jesus.
Anyway.
Well, this is the Proving
Moving
Grounds
on.
pod show where Cubby gets to
yeah.
unapologetically throw his ego out there, or stroke
That's good. That's good.
It's like a
All
golf
right.
club.
I honestly, it led to one of the funniest screenshots that we had all year, because it was like my AD, and it was like AD is pain, and it was 2 screenshots of like him having a really good score lines on Jhin in defeats, and then 3 screenshots him just getting bodied as Ezreal and wins. And that's how we play League of Legends. So
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Dude, after I watched Draher draft and win a game with Teemo, that sold. All
right. So first off, that wasn't that ask for SoundCloud. If you go check his account, he is a fill player in Grandmaster and is a team plays Teemo. That's his most played.
Cubby,
I know this because
don't make excuses for Draher's genius. Okay, he's just the best. You can't.
There's no way that Ask for SoundCloud did not have a say in that. Anyway, also, that is, someone asked who made it to C-Law Champs. Well, the reason is because we lost to that team that Ask for SoundCloud is on Northeastern, and we didn't qualify for an invite, but we might have been invited. I don't know. Let's not talk about C-Law too much.
All right. Yeah, we can get to that another time.
Don't
So
get
yeah,
too
let's keep
salty.
going down the list. So this is a team where this next team is another one where they have a really stellar staff behind them. The Evil Geniuses Prodigies. Before we get into the actual roster, I do want to point out that it is rather unlikely that they will have the same amount of backing that they did in the spring, because the entire Proving Ground split goes over the entire course of LCS, and LCS will actually finish after Proving Grounds this time around. It's not going to be LCS finishing first.
So okay, now I see where you're going.
Yeah. So with that being said, they probably still will have access to people like Peter Dunn. I don't want to put words into their mouth, but it will probably be more limited just based on that alone, especially if EG actually does make it to Worlds, which, by the way, would be awesome. We all know that Danny is now the AD carry. Speaking of, the roster has been changed up in his absence. Shoryu has been dropped down to this team because of visa issues, and they've also put in a new support, which Kelsey has been raving to us about for the past 2 months, and that is Skytech.
4 months.
Yeah, it's been
4
longer.
months,
yeah.
Okay, so first off, what Smax is getting at to clarify the whole staff thing is a big part of Proving Grounds that some of the teams that were knocked out of LCS playoffs early, the LCS staff started helping the Proving Grounds team, notably EG and Golden Guardians. And so what Smax is hinting at is the fact they won't have access to them all year. I say that doesn't matter because EGP didn't have access to that staff until the end of the year, and Ido was doing great with all those guys.
Don't want to undersell Ido at all.
Yeah. Also, Shoryu, we knew that Shoryu was going to be on this team due to visa issues. And this guy, I know that I was just hyping up Arrow. Shoryu straight up is the best AD that we have in Amateur until Arrow proves otherwise. I think Shoryu is an absolute monster, and he was proving that he was one of the better AD carries that was in Academy. The fact that he's an Amateur, he's going, I think it's A, it's really good for Skytech. B, Shoryu's going to straight up just body some kids. And C, I think the big question for me is, what is EGP going to look like with Skytech? And also, how can these players grow? Because I know that Mist, the huge part about Mist that every single EGP player would harp upon is that Mist was the brain and the comms of the team. Every call and every map movement that EGP made was off the back of Mist. And the praise that we gave EGP in the last split was that they were the only average team that actually knew how to play around Rift Herald, like being real. Like their rift swaps and how they used Herald and how they played around it, how they sacked things for it or did not sack things for it was hands down the best in all of Amateur, and that's what made EGP really good. Do they still have that, or are they do they lose that with Mist gone? That's what I want to see off the bat, and I want to see if the other members can kind of fill in those gaps and step up where Mist might have had the control and the shot calling for that. So yeah, I'm really curious. I think the EGP, they're going to be strong. For me, they should be a top 5, top 6 team. I just want to, I need to see them play a little bit, though, just to make sure that, those question marks that I have are answered. That's really my question. If they are, they're vying with the top. They're a team to beat throughout the entirety of Proving Grounds.
Yeah, this is undoubtedly the best LCS official affiliated team that we have in
Yeah.
this
The
OK.
gap got bigger, I think.
No, it didn't.
You don't think so?
Nope.
Well, I mean,
I have faith in 100 Thieves.
ooh,
I do.
okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were
We're
going to
getting
talk about
ahead of
TSM.
ourselves, but we'll get into that later.
Sorry, Gordon.
But
Yeah,
Keep
we'll
going.
get there.
To close out on Evil Genius's prodigies, like Tomio still remains one of the most hyped up jungle prospects. This
He's only
kid
going to
is
get better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's only going to get better. This kid still has incredible mechanics. His communication is getting better. We saw a huge improvement over the course of spring circuit. Not doing as much of the same careless mistakes as many other junglers or amateur junglers will do. We saw a huge improvement in that just within Proving Grounds, the official tournament alone during April. So I can only expect that Tomio can have a huge rise during the summer.
I'm hyped for this bot lane. I'm hyped for Surdy too. I think Surdy is one of my biggest players to watch coming into this next split. Because we saw we behind the scenes we've talked to Kelsey a lot about the growth of these players, and I think that the one that interests me the most is in fact Surdy. I know that it's pretty difficult to be a shot caller like from the top lane role, but maybe he's one of the people who can fill that role. I don't know. Maybe I'm overstepping with that. Maybe I'm getting too wild with it. But
you know what?
I was really impressed with some of his play.
Yeah, I would actually suggest that the person that takes the leadership role in this roster is actually Shoryu, because Shoryu is going to be the one with the most experience, obviously, right? Because he's had a ton of academy experience.
We stand Shoryu over here at the Proving Grounds pod.
Quentin Pereira, we love you, dude. Like, he's the homie. And
really good.
He is also, one thing we enjoy about players is when they're also really well spoken and they have like a very outgoing personality. And if you get to ever have the pleasure of talking to Quentin, he is awesome to just fucking hang out with and vibe.
Yeah.
Like, he is definitely someone that I would love to just go out with drinks for. Just be like, dude, let's just shoot the shit.
Yeah, we love Shoryu over here. But the other thing about the top lane is I feel like going into the summer for amateur, there is going to be a gaping hole in that top lane where Viper was. And I'm really excited to see which top laner actually fills that spot as the best amateur top. It's probably not going to be with the same weight as Viper. Let's be honest. Viper was disgusting. He was instantly promoted for a reason. But I do feel like Surdy he has the potential to try to get up to that spot of being the top amateur top laner.
Why
I know
are you talking
Alarm
about
is here.
Surdy for that position, though, when we already have Dokla or
Dokla's pretty sick, too. That's what I was getting at.
Okay.
So those two guys are amazing. Also, Piecake Lord is great, too. But
he's got a, like, I feel like Dokla and Alorum still have leaps and bounds on the rest of them. Dokla for landing, Alorum how he impacts the map. And I think that's the bar that people are gunning for. And I don't see any other top being close at the moment. So I'm curious why you pick Surdy.
There's also Gamsu.
Yeah, but we just don't know what he's going to look like yet.
That's going to be exciting. We'll get to that in a bit. But I'm going for the long shot a little bit. I don't think it's that big of a long shot, but I'm willing to bet on Surdy. I'm excited for it. Anyway, I've gone down that tangent long enough. Evil Genius's prodigies are back, and they're going to be exciting. The 5th seed team in this one, I was getting at a little bit with Piecake Lord. It is Resolve. Resolve is the company that has consumed Barrage, and with it, they get their roster. The only difference is that since Gorica has been put on TSM Academy, or not Academy, excuse me, TSM Amateur, they now have Array, which was the bot laner for Supernova. And this is a roster that I think is really cool. I'm curious to know where you would put them, as it sounds like you have a pretty good idea of what your top quote unquote tier list is, Cubby. What are your thoughts?
I have So Zoos and Wildcard for me are the clear top 2. And the next 3 I have are Resolve, EGP, and AoE in any order. And I'm kind of going to let them answer with gameplay. I think that Barrage in Amateur, the style that Barrage plays and the players that they have, or just in this case Resolve with Array, AD is the easiest role to plug and play, right? No questions about that. And what excited me about Barrage last year was honestly the fact that they really changed their play style from Risen to Proving Grounds. There was a drastic change in the picks that they had and the way they played the map. And a lot of that, I think the key word for them was discipline. Because this team loves to fight. And they love to flip. And I think for Amateur in the format, that's great. And Array's a little bit of a weaker laner than Gorica, but team fights amazingly well. I think Array's positioning and vision in team fights is with the best of them with ADs. If he's able to make those strides in laning, that's a lot of what we're going to talk about when it comes to amateur players. A lot of them need to work in their laning. If Array's able to do that, I think he's in good shape. And I think that this team is going to kind of fill the gap that we had for Barrage in this last split, which is they were the only roster to top 4 every single tournament.
And I think Winter is the perfect support to have be the mentor to coach him and help him through improve his laning phase and become potentially a more lane dominant marksman, right? Because between me, Cubby, and Smacks, we have seen multiple Jinx and Tristana pop-off moments from Array and Baron steals when, Jinx
Him and Strumpist were
Yeah.
kind of 2v8 in that roster at times.
Yeah, as a 2-threat core, those 2 were saving Supernova in multiple games that they should have lost early on in the game. So,
We're
for Array,
super close to qualifying for PG also.
yeah, they were literally 1 game away from taking, I believe it was Dignitas Mirage's spot.
Yeah, they got 1-3'd by Digmig in the last set.
Yep.
So
they
were
didn't
very
play great
close.
that day.
Yeah.
The Cosmic Drive Viger Rush though, that was pretty cool.
Oh
Pretty
yeah,
cool.
very, very cool tech. I'm very excited. I'm very hopeful because Cubby can attest to this. I've been very high on Array as a development in project in terms of marksman talent, because obviously there's a clear weakness in laning, but if that can be developed, then Array can be a very strong.
It's
marksman
not a
prospect.
weakness, it's just not a strength. And for his
Sure.
strength in other parts of his game, that's the one that he just needs to work on the most
Yeah.
for me.
So
I like Array. When it came to good players not on great teams, that was one of the first names that came up. And it feels like Supernova, they've gone from, with the more investment in amateur, they've gone from a team looking to put amateur talent in academy to a team that's putting amateur talent on better amateur talent. Which, to be fair, for LCS, I am pitching that we want more Oakland A's. So I'm glad that amateur has some good Oakland A's.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
Push the button,
Tyler
everyone.
Combs has.
Cubby said the thing.
Yeah,
I
I mean, Tyler Combs has stated multiple times in the past that he is okay and content with Supernova being the org that players come and go through to move on to better things. I mean, you have to remember that Supernova is the org that found Tactical before he eventually moved on to TSM Academy and then eventually Team Liquid starting roster. So Supernova has held or has housed some of the greatest amateur talent that has come out of LCS or NA in recent history. Whether they ever want to make a push to be more than that is, up to them. And obviously it's not an easy thing to do because it requires a lot of money.
There's
I mean,
nothing wrong with what I said.
Yeah.
No.
It's a great business plan, honestly, and I'm happy to see people embracing it. I've talked with T-Combs a lot. That's where he wants to be positioned, and I think it's smart.
Yeah.
And it's good to see that they're being successful, right? If that's their goal, then they did it with Ray. That's great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Back to Resolve though. There's no other things that we can say, as I think between the three of us, we were huge Barrage fans in the spring. And of course, there are multiple things that were unfortunate that prevented them from having better performances. And then
They
on
beat
the
Team
days,
Liquid though.
yeah, they did take out Team Liquid Academy. It was very, very good. So I know that Resolve can be easily a top 5 team within this Proving Grounds. Now we're going to find out, if assuming that there's no more technical issues or difficulties that unfortunately happen, if we can see the full strength of this roster.
Please
But
Pray for PCL's internet. Don't do it
Pray
again,
for
Ted Cruz. You already did it once.
pray for
God.
Fnatic's internet as well. Moving
Yep.
on to Supernova Smacks, I think it's appropriate.
Yeah. So, the other last thing I'll say about Resolve is that I feel like they are a team who will have a higher starting point than most of these teams because they have 4/5 of the same roster, they have the same coaching staff. The synergy is going to be really good. We saw that with the transition from fall 2020 to the beginning of Proving Grounds with Evil Genius's Prodigies. I think it's going to be very similar here. So that's definitely one of the teams that's going to be
And
really
those
exciting
guys
just out the gate.
love playing League of Legends together.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
love playing League together, which is great. So I'm excited to see them again. And I think that they're going to be one of the teams competitive with the top tier I have early, and one that can definitely push, and one that we fully expect to make it to Proving Grounds yet again.
Yep.
Yeah.
With that though, let's hop over to Supernova. So this is
Things
a
get more
team
interesting.
that So just right off the bat, I think we can all agree that those 5 teams that we just referenced probably going to be the most competitive in Challengers Uprising, outside of some surprises, which actually we're going to get to later. There is one surprise that I asked we are allowed to talk about, by the way, fellas. So we'll
Does it
get to
start with an
that
R?
at the end. It starts with a G, but we're gonna get to that later. Supernova is the 16th team. They have 2 of the same players, Maddie and Strumpist, have remained. They also have
Maddie!
they've got Cozy,
Big
who was
fan.
the previous
Talking
100
about a
next
player or
top
a team?
laner. What's up?
Player or a team? Starts with a G. Sorry, I'm hung out on this.
Well, Cubby, I guess you're gonna be surprised just like everyone else. But yeah, Cozy's top laner for Supernova now. They also have a new bot lane, Lynx, who I've never heard of actually.
He
And
was
also
the AD for UWO. He landed with SkyTech and
Oh.
Collegiate.
sweet. Well, that's exciting then. And they also have Papa Chow. But yeah, Lynx, very cool. Strumpist remains on this team. I think that's definitely going to be something that people can latch on to if you're a Supernova fan, if you're a Strumpist fan. He's probably still going to be the main carry for this team. And that is probably the reason why they have earned the 16th spot in this OQ.
Okay. Do you want to give your thoughts? I'll go last for this one.
Without much information on Lynx, to me, this feels like a downgrade. I was really excited for Array, and I'm glad to see him on a more whole team in Resolve.
I'm gonna get toxic here.
I'd say that Cozy. I'm excited for Cozy on this team. I think that he was 100 Thieves also agree with me that he seemed like one of the weaker points of that last
be a
team.
downgrade from Cavell.
Yeah, there's that.
That's my toxic
But
statement.
yeah,
Man.
I think this is one of the biggest question mark teams for me actually. Outside of the teams that I just have no idea who the players are at all.
Raafaa?
I'm excited to see my boy Maddie. Once again, I will support this dude through thick and thin. Formerly of Fruition and Team Front. I think he still has much left to prove. He had very surprising moments, because I know there was a lot of times where Supernova were counted out as a weak team. And obviously there were moments where a lot of the heavy lifting in team fights were from Array and Strompest. And Strompest, surprisingly showed up well. But Maddie, I still believe, is one of the stronger junglers that is not already had Academy or LCS experience. And we are now back to a meta where Xin Zhao is at the top of the table. And so, Maddie's special Xin Zhao.
This is conjecture.
The win now.
Win now, baby. Maddie's
This is
Xin Zhao.
Raafa's jungle takes, so take them, warily.
Don't sleep.
Raafaa, thing to point out here is that Anda's not in amateur anymore. And that, similar to the top lane of Viper, does open things up a little bit as far as who the best jungler is expected to be. I think it's pretty much without a doubt Fnatic on face value. But maybe this is Rafa's gamble on who he thinks is going to be the best.
No. So don't get it twisted. I
Okay.
love Maddie, and I have high hopes for him, but I have someone else that I think is going to be the best jungler this split.
Ooh.
So
Are you going to spoil it right now, or are we going to
No.
get to it later?
They're
No,
still on the
we'll
list?
yes, they're still on the list.
You would have sipping for X you like that when they brought in the 6th man that's also a jungler?
No, it's not Cloud9 amateur. Relax. Cloud9 have disappointed me enough already with MSI.
It's Odd. It's Odd Orange. You think Odd Orange is going to be the best?
No, just we'll get there. We'll get
Who
there.
else is on
Let
this
him
freaking
have
list?
his moment
Relax.
later
There's no
on,
one else on
Cubby.
the list. There's no one
We'll
else
get
on the
there.
list.
Relax.
We're going to get to it, I
Get
guess.
to
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
This team's
Relax.
anyway,
Back to Supernova.
Supernova.
Before we move on. Oh, that wasn't for me. That like.
Oh, it's for me.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't have
Oh,
much
that's
else
for
to
me.
say.
Okay, Lynx and Skytech. I'm giving Skytech a hall pass because I've seen a lot of Skytech play. I know this guy's good. But they lost to Bethany's bot lane that I've scrimmed against a lot. My D4 bot lane has sometimes held their own against them. So I have no faith in Lynx. I'm very biased, but that's where we're at. Let's see how good Cozy develops and how good Cozy is. I know going into this, I'm a bit biased because of that, and also I'm helping Supernova with their announcement video. And I did 100 Thieves announcement video for Cozy as well. I have faith in Strompest. I have faith in Cozy. I know that talking with T Combs, Cozy is Coach Koso's big project. They were working together on XT Esports where we first saw
Very
Cozy.
true.
Yeah.
I think that if Koso can make this work, and I have faith in Koso as a coach as well, I think that Cozy can be good. And I think that if Cozy's good, this team is good. And that's my key. And
I'm down for that.
so I want to see if Cozy can step into that role and be the freak mechanical talent that we know he is when we see his carry play. I mean, think back to TBA and what that guy did on some carries. And what I will say was a watered-down split of amateur, but still, he was one of the best top laners in that watered-down split of amateur. So he wasn't facing a Laura Murdokla, but he looked damn good. So I think that Cozy is someone that I want to see if he can look like that again. That's my clause on Supernova. And now let's hit up Maryville Esports, who, if you guys haven't seen the OQ rosters, they're a little bit different for Maryville this time than what they're running in CLOL.
Oh, man. Cubby, I am so thrilled that this is happening. I have been an advocate of this exact change for over a year now. And that exact change is that Maryville have put in Spearaxe in the mid lane because Wolfie is graduating. Now, I believe Wolfie is going to finish out CLOL.
He is the sixth man of this roster as well.
Yes, he also is still here. However, I really am excited for this because Spearaxe has been a player who's excited me for a very long time. He played on Supernova Dark Matter in Scouting Grounds 2020. He was the only carry on that team. Actually. And I'm really thrilled that he gets a starting spot on a Proving Grounds roster.
Yeah.
Spearaxe is so exciting to me. And I have never really been high on Wolfie to begin with. I have gone on record saying that I thought that he was the weakest link on this team, even last year. And I think that that's still true right now. But now they've put in Spirax, and I'm super pumped about this. I think this team is going to be really good with him in. I'm really excited about Spirax.
Yeah, between him and Kind Jungle, they're the strongest members of Maryville Black in the games that we got to saw. Obviously,
You do
Maryville
Dinka
Black.
like that?
Dink is pretty good in lane.
I've had multiple conversations with Rebel Fox.
Rebel
and-
Fox is the biggest Dinka hater on the planet. Do not cite him when talking about Dinka. Don't do it. Throw that out the window. Sorry, Rebel Fox. But it's true.
For me, I'm not denying that Dinka is good at laning. He is. But for me on Maryville Black, I think Kind Jungle and Spirax provided a lot of the bridge and the foundation for that team to be successful. And so Spirax now going into the main Maryville roster, I think this is his time to help bring a lot to the table. And when Maryville University first came to the table with this roster, they, as well as many people, I also believed at the time that they were going to be a top contending roster. They didn't make it to Proving Grounds.
I'd like to have a quote said in a second. Let's keep on going.
Sure. I just want to say, I did not say you two. I just know that I admitted, or I'm admitting that I thought Maryville University were gonna make it, right?
One of us did as well.
So
yes,
Chippies, yeah, especially with Chippies coming in and Shady being what we projected to be one of the top maybe 5 supports coming into Proving Grounds spring circuit. Their finish was less than desirable, obviously. But I know that this roster took that very hard, and Zoo, more than anyone, took it upon himself to make changes going into summer. Because I know how hard Zoo works into doing the best he can for his players and making sure that they succeed. So all I can say is that I will be giving them the benefit of the doubt that they can have a better result than spring.
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair. If there are 6 amateur teams that go to Proving Grounds, I think this is probably one of them. I acknowledge the fact that there are some teams that are some pretty big question marks. TSM Amateur is one of them that could pop off, might pop off. Hunter Next is definitely one of those as well. But I think that for me, I will place my bets on Maryville, which I did previously this year. And Cubby, I think it's now time for you to make fun of me.
Maryville will not drop a single game in Big League, and we broke our rule and talked about big. So, anyway, that was a Smacks quote that we had to reference. So
I was right for more than half of that tournament. I just want to point that out there.
Things about Maryville. I think Shady's a top 3 support in amateur.
Give me your 3.
Him, Winter, and probably Rhino. Daption too.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot Daption. Okay, still top 3. Yeah. It depends on which Rhino decides to show up, but.
Oh man, what if later on into the split there's a team that has Apollo Zazel on it again, and they just come in and.
Dude, okay. Sidebar, where's Zazel?
I don't know,
because I have not heard any leaks of him hopping on an Academy roster. I've not heard any leaks of him hopping on an LCS roster. And Zazel was hands down the best player that we had in Proving Grounds. Up there with Value and Anda. It was Value, Anda, Zazel. And early in the season, I would have argued that Zazel was the best.
Yes. I think you mean Viper.
Oh, yeah, Viper. My bad.
Not taking anything from our boy Ross, but we got to give credit where credit's
due. Value was lower down my list than Viper. It was Viper and a Zazel, and early in the season, it was Zazel number 1. Zazel was hard gapping everyone at support. That guy has the best comms I've ever heard in the league besides High. Where is he?
I don't know.
I really hope
There's
Zazel's
still a
returning.
little bit of time
this-
for
at this
amateur and
point,
LCS,
Cubby,
I guess, but
He's
At-
got to
at this-
be. There must be a rumor that I've not heard about.
yeah.
At this point, Cubby, the only thing that we know that Zazel is doing is getting money from Tyler One on Tarzan's team in the money matches.
True.
And
Also, they've been
hopefully
playing
from
weekend
Qualifier
tournaments.
eventually.
All right, dude. I had a legit conversation with someone. If you threw Five Fire's or Tarzan's T1 team in that group for MSI, if they would have gotten out, and I had me and Forrest actually had a 5-minute conversation about this on his stream. If you want to go back through the VODs about whether or not they would have gotten out. Spoiler alert: we both said yes. So anyway, but yeah, that team's legit.
I know
I haven't seen Zazel. Where is he?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know
where he
I've
is,
personally
man.
told Cubby, do you think that now with our relationship with Tyler One, if we could convince him to sponsor an amateur team, call it Tyler One's Tots, and then just put in the Tarzan team that just wins every single money match?
Zazel retired, according to Morgan? No.
What?
No!
Dude, no. He's way too
No! No!
I thought that guy could have plug and played in LCS.
Zazel Leaguepedia. Let's look.
Jesus.
Man!
Does he say that he's retired?
I'm looking at his Twitter.
That would make me really salty. I hope you're wrong, and I hope he's taking a split off.
He just says he's a free agent on
I just hope he's
Leaguepedia.
taking a split off. Which I'd be bummed about. I do want to talk about that too briefly. Also, this episode is going to be way longer than an hour. It's a preview episode.
Yeah,
so we're just
I
sending
was
it.
just going to bring that up.
sending it.
Nothing
we're
on Twitter.
we're going for a while, boys.
We're sending it. Yeah, it's fine. PGG style, you know? We're talking about Maryville, right?
Yeah.
I cannot say that this team will make Proving Grounds when I also don't have them winning C-Law. And that's the Spearaxe change doesn't mean, change that for me. I think Wolfie, does he look bad in lane? Yes. But what does Wolfie bring to that team behind the scenes? Every single time you talk to anyone a part of Maryville, it is all about, damn, Wolfie is so swapped on from the public because, yeah, he gets solo killed in lane. But also what he brings to that team, there's a reason that he's playing in C-Law, right? They want to win C-Law bad. The only reason they're making this change is because Spearaxe, Wolfie's graduating, right? He's out.
Yeah.
And so that's why they're making this change. I think that it's a downgrade for Maryville because if they thought it was an upgrade, they would have it already in. I think that Spearaxe is a better laner, but I have faith that Maryville's staff would, do what's best for their team in C-Law. And I don't think they're going to win C-Law, even though they're the heavy favorites. They have a tough bracket ahead of them, honestly. They could drop. So I can't say they're going to make it into PG. The best news for Maryville is if you are a Maryville fan and you are rooting for them, it's that apparently Zazel's not playing an amateur, and the jungle changes really help Auto Orange's traditional champion pool. That's the best hope that you can have for this roster moving forward. But I don't have them favored or getting out, and I think the high highs for them, I'm not as high. That's me. And also that roster might be malleable throughout the season because they do have 10 people. That's a part of the school. Now, PG does require 6, but they also have 10 to draw upon. And I don't think that's going to be the only change that we see from Maryville moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Take that for what you will.
Cool.
Moving on.
Well, yeah, let's keep this pushing. We're approaching 1 hour, and that was 7 of the 32 teams. So,
well, some of them are going to go through fast.
Yeah. I think once we get through the 12th team, the rest will not take that long.
Yeah. So actually, you know what? I don't think the next team is going to take that long. So Revival is in. Revival's 8th seed.
With
They
their
only changed.
original bot lane.
Yep. Scooped and Plex are in. The only change that has been made within the original roster was that Cyber is out and Pulp, aka Ethug, is in.
Ethug.
Yeah. Known Twitch spammer in solo queue.
Indeed.
This roster was exciting before. They don't have a Kha'Zix one trick anymore. I don't know if Pulp is going to perform better. I think one of the biggest reasons why they didn't make it to Proving Grounds was because of the roster swap. That's we're not going to get into the reason for all of that right now, but I do think this roster is going to be a contender. I would hold them as at the same standard as where I'm expecting. Well, I think they're not quite approaching the top echelon of expectations quite
They are
yet. But
They are going to be a slightly better version of what they were last split, which is a
Yeah.
team that you would not expect to upset top teams, but will.
Yes.
That's my faith for Revival. Will they make it into the tier ones? We'll see.
maybe there's only one of them.
There is only one of them, but that's a big thing to qualify for.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Exciting stuff. I think that this roster is going to be fun to watch. I had a lot of fun watching Sudsy last split.
Suzzy's really
Yeah.
good, and look out for
Yeah.
Concept of X.
Yep.
But I think that Cyber played a pretty big role in their success, and I want to see if Ethog can do the same.
Sure.
Yeah.
I will also,
We'll see.
on behalf of Sam Price, do what he would do in this position and say, Sudsy, I am your biggest simp. So that is, that's for Sam Price.
All right, next
Other
is
than
100
that-
Thieves.
Yep.
All right.
All right,
I-
Cubby, take it away.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have it on good authority that the 100 Thieves changes, so they changed out their top and jungle, right? So Goo and Cozy are both out. Now, the clause about 100 Thieves last split was that they were hands down, without a doubt, not even close, the youngest team in all of Proving Grounds. Their average age between their 5 players was less than 18. That's crazy if you're going to have a team like that. And I have it on good authority that the team thought that the all-rookie experiment did not work out based on the result, which, to be fair, they
Can't blame
were
them.
tied 12th, and they lost a tiebreaker to get into the other tournaments. Fallen Bandit is a proven coach. Instinct and Busio are two of the best prospects that we have. I know that they did not make the tier 1s last split. They are two of the best prospects that we have at their roles, given their age
Absolutely.
and given their ability level at the moment. I think
Yeah.
Young is good. I think Gamsu, I've heard that he still has a good idea of how to play lane, and he has been practicing League for 6 months to get to this point. He retired from OWL last season. Chad Jungle, we're going to have to see. I have it on good authority that was not their first option for Jungle. Their first option was Fnatic. Fnatic decided to stay with Resolve. A lot of junglers at that point were taken, and Chad Jungle was what they thought was the best on the table. And so we're going to have to see what Chad Jungle looks like. And he's got a great opportunity to prove that he is more than just a solo queue player. He is a talented competitive jungler. And if anyone's going to help mold him into that, it's going to be Gamsu Young as solo laners and Fallen Bandit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that 100 Thieves next, this split, will be pushing to be better than a mid-tier team and starting to push that top 5 that I mentioned. And that might sound bold based on the results last split. I have not heard any scrim rumors of them, but I do have a lot of faith in their staff. And 100 Thieves and EG, top to bottom, are hands down the two most stacked LCS franchise orgs. I think that'd be a great debate between which one you'd rather be in. And I think that 100 Thieves, while they didn't prove that last split, this is a better roster to have more success now. And I think that they're going to have some success now.
The other thing that I think is really fun to mention, 'cause I know Cubby has his connections on which he can speak on good authority. Papa. But I recently watched a Travis Gafford interview with Gamsu. And Gamsu disclosed, who was the main person that encouraged him to get back into League and helped him start up the process of into 100 Thieves next. And it is by far the best player we have in NA in the LCS in Core JJ, who, for LCS fans, will remember that Core JJ and Gamsu were former teammates back in
2014.
Dig.
Yeah, the old Dig roster. Not 2014. It's like 20.
Yeah. No, it was 2014.
No,
Was
he
it-
went. I think he went from Fnatic to NA, not vice versa.
No,
He
it was the other way around.
After Huni. No?
He
He went to Fnatic after Huni,
Yeah.
and he was in NA first.
yeah,
'Cause
he
the-
was on
oh,
Dignitas
it-
because he was on the
was
roster
Dig,
with
yeah.
Crumbs.
Oh, that's right. And then, because Core JJ was an 80 at the time, and
Yep.
Mr. Kiwi Kid was the support at the time. Okay,
Dude,
you know,
Kiwi Kid's welfare hacks were just way too OP with the LCS, man. I don't know how he did it. It's unreal.
I remember when Core JJ became won Worlds in 2017, and Kiwi Kid tweeted out, "Dude, I taught him how to become that support. Let's go."
That's honestly,
funny.
that's a great tweet.
Alan,
It's undefeated.
You fucking memer, dude. But
He was a great memer.
Oh yeah, dude. From top lane to support, dude, Kiwi Kid was legendary. And I remember there was an interview with Core JJ that during that Worlds 2017 run was like, so what inspired you to go to support? I just remembered all the bad things that Kiwi Kid were doing, and I made sure to never do those. I was like, oh my god. I was like, oh my god. But he's like, no Flame, I love you. I love you.
No, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's why I swapped the support.
Yeah, actually, me too. Actually, it's the best motivation to be a support main, is being an AD carry first, and then realizing, wow, all supports are bad. I'm going to be better than that.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't have hands, and support suck.
Yeah. That being said, Gamsu, if Core JJ has not only been encouraging him, but also helping him get back on top of League, right, and how to play lane and meta and everything, there is a huge potential that Gamsu is one of the top laners, or performing top laners in this summer circuit.
Big thing to remember is that the previous rendition of 100 Thieves Next that had this model of 1 veteran, 4 rookies produced so many amateur or academy players that they had
6.
to completely make
6.
a new
8.
roster. Yeah, it was 8. Because they had Poom at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
shit,
XI as
right.
well.
XI, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
It was insane. Or actually, I think it was 7.
But also, if anyone's gonna help
was all
Gamsu
of
get
them.
back in the top lane, it's Fallen Bandit.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I really think the 100 Thieves Next are going to make a push this year.
Lots of good signs. Lots of good signs.
Keep in mind, I have no idea what form Gamsu's going to be at, but at his highest high, he's the best top laner that we have in amateur. Proven already. Also, how fucking crazy is it that he's pro at 2 games, and a good pro too? Like, he was one of the best tank players in OWL. Like,
yeah.
All right, this guy's just cracked, so it's not fair. I have
I'm
a lot
excited.
of faith in 100 Thieves Next, yeah.
It's going to be really fun. I think this is a team to get excited in. I know the 3 of us here were getting very excited for them at the beginning of this year. I think there is more reason to get excited this time around.
I got excited about them at the beginning of the year because I looked at a really watered down amateur split and was like, yeah, this team's like top 2. And then like after that, a month later, all the insane rosters got announced, and I was like, oh shit. Yeah. So that's not the case this time. We know all the rosters right now, and so I feel better about getting hyped about 100 Thieves this time.
I think also considering the support pool that we have, I know we already talked a little bit about top 3 supports are huge contenders in Shady, Winter, and Rhino.
Dude,
also Daption,
all it's going to take is one game where Busio 1v9s.
Busio,
he's going to be the talk of the town.
I'm telling you, even last split, Busio and Instinct in lane were good. That was not the issue with the team.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they're young.
There were specific VODs where Cubby and Smacks and I all reviewed where 100 Thieves Next were playing against Zeus Gaming, I believe, and the whole top side of the map.
As an example.
Okay. Like there was a VOD with Zeus Gaming. There was a VOD with there was an other upper team. It wasn't No Org. It wasn't Barrage.
It was Zeus. It was Zeus.
Yeah. So, but even that being said, like, I know you have your opinions on Raheen. We have disagreeing opinions. And so there are moments or in that VOD where the top half of 100 Thieves Next got completely shat on, and Instinct and Busio were the sole reasons why the game lasted longer than 35 minutes. And this is a role swapped mid to support who has picked up the role in less than a year. Less than 6 months.
Let's also keep in mind that in the offseason, he hit 1,100 LP on support and also had a jungle and a mid account, both in Challenger. And he's 17.
Allen's fucking cracked, dude.
Yes. So I have
Let's
a lot
get
of faith.
excited, guys.
Yeah.
Let's get excited.
Also, our opinions on Raheen are the same. I just emphasize the fact that he's not good at lane. Outside of lane, he's very good and very talented. But guy needs to work on his laning. He knows this.
All right.
We'll see if it's better, but it will look better for sure in amateur because there will not be as many lanes that can punish him. But yeah.
Sweet. Let's keep this moving.
Wildcard.
We're getting to the point where we're probably not going to talk about the teams too much.
We have
We're
to spend
almost
this
there.
time, yeah.
Wildcard Black. This is a team I was mentioning before. They've got Quacker, who's coming down from the main roster. They also have a few prospects who came in from the Combine in Clam and Manui. They had some pop-off games. Those are going to be the biggest question marks here. Yasin is a player that the wildcard staff has been hyping up a lot. And they also have Raafaa's main man, Robbery Bobbery, making a return to the mid lane in Proving Grounds. He's back.
Discord got him off.
He's back.
Robert Weber! His moment to arrive and piss Smurf and take everyone's girlfriends has come. You better fucking watch out, because Robbie Bob is coming, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, God. Yeah, Robbie Bob's good. Dylan ran Clam in every single game we played Purdue, so I don't have as much faith. That's all I'm saying. I do have faith in wildcard staff. Quacker's good, really good. And I also think the top lane's not as strong of a role. And also I think that everyone's hyped off of Yasin off of like one game he had where like he had the E-sub. But I also think Yasin's pretty good. So we shall see. I think that this team will be a better version of Revival. Much so in play style. And also much so in the fact that they're going to be a mid-tier team that has a chance to beat top teams and surprise them.
They get to have internal relations with the main team also, which has 3 insanely cool veterans in Dokla, Winston, and Arrow. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is going to be a really cool team to have. I'm really glad that Wildcard actually is fielding 2 teams this time around in the Proving Ground space, and it does look like both of them are going to be competitive. I've got a lot of faith in this org. I think this is a really cool quote-unquote B team. I mean, you can shorten the name to Wildcard B short for Black. But I think that I don't think you could really argue that they're at the same tier as the main team. But I am excited for these guys. I think that I think they've got some really cool pieces. And if Clam and Manui were the players who were chosen out of that entire scouting combine, there were like 150 players in the whole thing.
130.
I've got a lot of faith. I've got a lot of faith in.
Yeah, no, I say that like seriously, but also like jokingly. Like, there's a reason Clam is picked, right? And I think Clam's a really, really, really strong jungler in collegiate, even though Purdue got knocked out. And I haven't seen a lot of Manui, so I can't really speak on him too much. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a mid-tier team that can knock out the top-tier teams, and I think that's a great. If you are a wild card and that is your second team, fantastic.
For sure.
Yeah. I think that the most valuable. I mean, we touched about it briefly, but the most valuable thing about having 2 teams like this under the same org, you get to now practice strategies that no one else will know about.
Yeah, exactly.
You like now, because it's not like you have one team that is super good and you have another team is like piss low. Wildcard Black on paper is a very competent team. So now you get to have both of these wildcard rosters get to practice some really go all fucking out with some dark cursed tech, which we all know that Morgan is a big fan of. He loves to test like some really like mad scientist shit. And it's really hard to do that in scrims against other teams, because if Morgan approaches, a team like
they'll blacklist you.
Resolve, they'll be like, You want us to do what?
Why are you playing Heimerdinger
what
in my
time?
game?
You want us to do this? No, then you're fucking wasting our time. But if you have if two teams under the same orgs, like, this is your fucking job.
Yeah.
You're gonna play this. Do it. Trust. And
I like the momentum of this. I think it's going to be exciting. I think both these guys. I think this team is going to be a contender. After casting a couple of the games in the scouting combine, Clam and Manui, I can tell why they were put on this team. They had some really big pop off games, and it's kind of hard to do that in a scouting combine where you're playing with a new team every single game. So I'm excited. I think this is going to be a cool team. I feel like I've said that about every roster, but I just love NA League of Legends, man. So I'm not gonna try to defend myself. I'm right. Okay.
Also, one last thought before we move on to the other one. If for some reason only one of the wildcard teams makes it to Proving Grounds, would it technically be allowed to then field a 10-man roster for
6? You're limited at 6.
Yeah, you can. You only
can
have
you
6.
get 1 sub.
All right, so
Unless you are Academy, then you can have the entire access to the LCS team.
can we just have wildcard take one of the lowest performing LCS spots? Let's just move everyone up to Academy.
You mean
LCS,
Academy?
guys.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Anyway,
fun
so
one.
yeah, next team we've got TSM Amateur. So this team's been announced for a while. They have 2 pieces who, if you're a fan of Proving Grounds, you should be very excited for. That is Doxa in the mid lane and Gorica on bot lane. However, the rest of the team
Hold on.
doesn't.
Eclipse is good. We've
Eclipse
seen a
is
lot
pretty
of
good.
Eclipse in
Okay,
Amateur.
but Cubby, you have to realize that the jungle and support on your team are oftentimes the biggest macro backbone
Oh, I know.
and tempo
keep
setter.
going. Yeah.
I think that having these 2 players who don't have a lot of experience, who in Infectrix's case has been around for a bit and hasn't really impressed too much, I think this is a big risk that TSM Amateur are taking with having those 2 players in the roles of jungle and support. I think if they were other roles, this makes a little bit more sense. But the good news for TSM Amateur is that their carry force of Doxa, Gorica, and then also Eclipse is really exciting. Doxa, Gorica were some of the really pop-off players in the previous split. Doxa was a really big player. He almost upset the TSM team, actually. Now that I'm thinking of this, he almost knocked TSM Academy into the losers bracket in UGP. Maybe that's why he's here.
He solo killed Sword, and
Yeah.
they took 1 game off of them already. So
All right, hold on. Solo
Interesting.
killing Sword is not that big of an accomplishment.
okay, okay, but you have to take from the perspective that Doxa, representing CLOL in Amateur, is making a strong statement that, based on how well he performs with this roster, I don't expect TSM Amateur to finish in top 10 of Proving Grounds rosters. I don't even know if they would be one of the LCS affiliated amateur orgs to make it into the Proving Grounds summer tournament, but I think Doxa could easily take Sword's spot in Academy.
Well, they have a sub mid already, keep in mind, which is also their sub for Amateur, which is Takedown. Which was announced earlier, and he was the highest ranked mid laner in solo queue and is better than Sword.
Wait, I didn't see this.
I think
that's true.
Or
actually.
Takeover, thank you. My bad.
Takeover, yeah.
If you've been following League, or like if you are a fan of TSM, I think that it's kind of expected that Takeover takes over the mid spot by the end of the split.
Yeah.
That's kind of what community sentiment is.
I think either way, though,
I say this as Hyper
Doxa's
enters the chat.
Yeah, Doxa and Gorica are super cool pieces. I'm just glad that they're getting some LCS org recognition.
Yeah,
here,
I think
because they deserve it.
Doxa and Gorica and Eclipse are really good. Infectrix and Dunbray, from what I've seen, need a lot of work.
Yep.
And Gorica can definitely help with that, and hopefully the staff at TSMA is able to help a lot with Infectrix as well. So
I will say, Infectrix has a nice Lee Sin from the one game we saw him sub on Polar Ace last year during
Perfect.
SCC 2020.
That was Pie Swag.
No,
That was
he was
no.
so
Infectrix was there too. Raafa's
yeah.
right.
But
Yeah.
Infectrix subbed in for DMK, and then Pie Swag subbed in, and then Frost Force subbed in. So
Yeah,
which
it
sub are
was
you thinking about?
No. I'm talking about all of them. Like, see, the funny thing was for all
Pie
those
Swag's
Polar
Lee Sin was
Ace
the best.
games. Okay, Pie Swag's Lee Sin did hit kind of different. I'm just saying, Infectrix had a nice Lee Sin. It's not the best Lee Sin, but it's a nice Lee Sin.
It was a nice Lee Sin, not a yep Lee Sin. Catching my drift.
You know what? I'm gonna cut this conversation off and say one last closing word about TSM Amateur. We already have touched on Shoryu being the on paper best AD carry coming in. I think Gorica is top 3, with Shoryu and probably Arrow. I think we could put some respect on Arrow's name. So they've got some top tier players on this team, which is pretty cool. Let's move over to the.
But as you mentioned, Smacks, the jungle
okay.
support of the big macro decision makers, and I think TSM Amateur personally are not going to make Proving Grounds, and I don't think it's going to be close.
The good thing is though is that at least they're trying. They are. I'd rather see a TSM Amateur roster exist.
I am glad that Reggie, after saying he's investing a lot of money into the league space, is investing in amateur, and I think it's a very wise move for franchises to do. And I'm really happy to see another LCS org hop in. It's going to save them money in the long run. Yeah.
Yep.
Sweet.
5 out of 10.
Exciting. Let's move on to Cloud9 Amateur, who have only made one change, and it's not to the starting roster. Their sub is Link, that was known as City Witty. And that's kind of it. I don't think we have to talk about this too much. They have the same exact roster. They were not very close to making it into Proving Grounds. I still think Wixie's really good. Still think that the rest of the team needs some work. Yeah, that's my stance. You guys have anything?
Their bot lane jungle are good. I think Shrimps is okay. I think Speedo is not good. And I'm surprised that Speedo is still on the team, if I'm being frank.
I agree.
Yeah.
Raafaa?
I echo Wixie and Breezy being really good. Wixie was a huge surprise in Spring Circuit because I knew nothing about him. And then there are some
he's good.
Yeah, and specifically the Giant Slayer Gauntlet. He had some pop-off performances on Lucian, which I was like, he was one of the few AD carries that was flexing it down there when Lucian was purely a solo laner. So
still wasn't Prismal, man.
Oh, yeah.
Holy smokes, dude. Prismal's Lucian hits real different. Short hops as well, who we'll get to shortly.
Indeed. And Lawrence, XU, has a lot to prove. But he's also very good. So,
yeah.
I actually am not nearly as high on XU as I was at the start, but I think that the meta is shifting more into his wheelhouse. And that is good.
Yeah.
We're going to see some Lee Sin players.
I hope that they're a contender. That's about where I'm at. I'm not confident that they will be, but I hope they will.
Okay, let's do a fun one. Do you rank them above or below TSM Amateur?
Oh, these guys are
below.
Oh, really? Well, shit.
See, I just said the TSM, I think they're going to get ran, which I do, and I rank C9 below them.
No,
yeah, I'm putting C9 below.
Yeah, because the thing is that...
Do I think they qualify for Tier 1? Yeah. Do I think they make Proving Grounds? Probably not.
Yeah, because XU gap over Infectrix is nowhere compared to Doxa gap over Shrimps or Gorka over Wixie. So
we'll see. I think those two make an interesting pair. And yeah, I think we've already gone over it. There are some pieces that stand out. We'll see what happens.
All right, so
AoE randoms.
Yes, 13 seed. The core of just randoms, and then Josie and Comp 9 or Stankata. Who is Comp 9 or Comp?
Comp 9's pretty cool. I'm glad that he's on what looks to be a pretty competitive team. I'm also very high on Chim, which I know is not very constant with the public for some reason. Chim's a really good tank player. I don't really know why people don't agree with me on that. I don't know if you guys agree with me on that.
He's a good tank player.
I'm excited for Chim.
But Comp is more known for his assassin play. And when I think of how those two roles mix and match in the two solo lanes, that's not usually the combo I want to go for.
That's pretty fair.
Also, we've seen a lot of Chim, Short Hop, and Pocus, and they're a pretty solid bot lane to run in Risen and UPL, but this is Proving Grounds, and the game is a little bit harder, and the competition is a little bit better, and I'm not sure of like how they're going to hold up. One thing I do like is Josie going back to Scouting Grounds with Captain Shrimps and on life support. Josie was actually, in my opinion, without a doubt, the best performing member of life support with Dinka, Josie, and Captain Shrimps. And I think that Josie is going to surprise and turn a couple heads in the jungle as he usually does when he plays.
Yeah. He's one of the pieces that kept Wildcard afloat during their turmoil. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to mention it twice in one episode. But yeah, I think that's a good point, Cubby. I think this team can make some waves. They also have the same benefit of having a sister team, so they can do some internal testing and things like that.
I don't think they're going to make a ton of waves, but they're a respectable team that's going to be like, if you're a top team, you've definitely got to pay this team respect when you go up against them in the group stage.
Yep.
And I think that in the later tier 2s, they could maybe push some teams trying to still make it around. But I think in the first couple ones, they get smacked a little bit. But they qualify.
Quick note,
so that's cool.
Quick note, Pocus was one of the best supports from both the First Blood and Revolution Gaming community servers in 2018. Pocus, while maybe his mechanics and don't match up to the top 3 supports, I think one of the admirable things about Pocus is he has been in coaching positions as well, and he's very smart about the game. So, depending on how well this roster works together cohesively, I think Pocus has an opportunity to make a case for one of the better supports outside of the big 3 that we're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I don't really have any insight onto this roster. Also, he's representing Montreal, Quebec. Go Canada.
Okay, moving on to Radiance.
Yeah. So, yeah, Radiance is a returning org. They played in Scouting Grounds, and you know what? I'm gonna say it. They kind of have a bunch of randoms on this team, guys. It's not all randoms.
This is for me where things start to really drop off.
I agree.
I think that the real Philip is good.
I think Vex is good.
No.
You don't think Vex is good?
No.
I think he will probably be the best player on this team.
No.
Okay.
Keetong, I have heard he is a great coach. He is playing support for this team. So we're going to have to see if he's team leader and if he can help coach these guys to make it. I know that Radiance was a little bit late to move on their roster. I think the real Philip is good. I do not think this team does anything.
They also have Jason Jungle as their sub, which I don't know anything about Bluster, but I know Jason Jungle is known for his Kayn play and solo queue.
Mm-hmm.
One of the better Kayn mains. We actually have quite a few Kayn mains in that come out through amateur. The other one that I'm thinking of is Eric Ziyang. Don't see him on any of the rosters.
His brother's playing. Ivan Yang, I believe. They are related.
That's right.
I believe Ivan J. Yang and him are related. Ivan's younger and better.
I did not know that they were brothers.
I believe. Yes.
From my understanding, Jason Jungle has a better Rost, and Eric Ziyang has a better Shadow Kayn.
Oh wow, that's getting real into.
We're getting
things. Yeah.
You know more about this stuff than I do. You've done your homework.
When it comes to jungle, I love this shit. Everything else though, I don't know anything about this Radiance.
That's whack, but also kind of cap. But I can't fact check you on it. So anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
that's funny.
They could easily disprove me and be like, Raafaa's completely wrong, but that's just based on like the few games that I've like peeped in op.gg and pulled up spectate. I was like, yo, Eric Ziyang always goes Shadow Kayn. And then when I look at Jason Jungle's Kayn games, it's like his Rost is nasty. So that is just my conclusion. Take it.
Honestly, pretty appropriate for brothers, taking two sides of the coin.
Mm-hmm.
Switching it up a little bit. All right. Dignitas Mirage. Smacks, we're going to leak the news. They haven't announced it. Everyone pretty much knows, but...
Go ahead.
All right. So Dignitas Mirage, they found out this week, or early last week, that Meech and Trevor or King are banned for boosting. And so they had to find a last-second bot lane. They filled it with Good Boy and Claritz. And the top through mid are Dragoon, Cyber, and DNA. So Dragoon and DNA being the returning pieces. Keep in mind, DNA got an honorable mention from me for most improved. And that was before I saw his Proving Grounds performance. After his Proving Ground performance, him and Mist for me were most improved from last split. I think that they both did great work in terms of upping their play throughout the split. And Cyber was someone that with Revival and with Sudsy turned a lot of heads and was a surprise talent that we found in his first split of competitive. Hiami is the jungler stepping down. Cyber will be taking his place. What are our thoughts on Digmig?
I like the top side. I have no idea what this bot lane's going to do. We've seen in the past what happens when teams have surprise bot lane substitutions in like the middle of nowhere, and that usually does not go very well. I'm talking about Revival last split. I'm talking about Full Spectrum or Simplicity in Scouting Grounds. Sort of a deep cut, but if you were there, you'd remember.
It's only last year.
Is not in the middle of nowhere. This is between splits. This is an entire fresh start for Dignitas Mirage. However, still feels the same because you know that this was not intentional. You know that this is just a situation where Meech and Trevor fucked up and they had to go with whoever was available. So
I think Good Boy is pretty good too.
I'm pessimistic about this, but it's not as bad as other situations that we've seen before, similar to Revival last split. I am higher on this team than I am Radiance, and I am higher on this team than I am C9.
We have to take into consideration.
I haven't seen Claritz play, so I can't speak on Claritz.
Right.
But yeah.
The unfortunate thing is that apart from DNA, the best performing player on Dignitas Mirage by the end of their run in the Proving Grounds tournament was Meech.
That was the Meech team. Meech was the reason they made top 16.
There's a reason why we have a copy pasta about the Meech show as inappropriate as it is sometimes it gets blocked out.
Let's not bring that up right now.
But that being said, it is a shame that Meech will not be able to participate because he was one of the main reasons why Digmig went as far as they did.
He's really good.
Yeah.
He was a top 10 prospect on Mobalytics for the entirety of the split. And as many qualms as the community had about that list, and some qualms that I had, Meech was on my list for top 10. Meech is really good.
Yeah. So that being said, because of this bot lane being a question mark, and we just don't know what will happen, and with them coming into the roster soon, it's really up to this top side of the map to pick up for the slack that Good Boy and Claritz potentially might be having until they are settled into the roster, because this has, if they want to continue improving grounds, they need to be able to make a strong enough performance to get in through either tomorrow or Tuesday's open qualifiers in one of the top 16 teams so that they can still compete in Risen and Helix's Tier 2 tournaments. Because if to clarify, if you are not one of the 16 teams that qualifies into Challengers Uprising, you will not be able to participate in any of the other Tier 2s.
So Risen announced they're doing an OQ.
They are?
Risen announced they're doing an OQ.
I thought that sounded
originally,
fishy.
Though, that was what Riot's intentions were. Because I know Chrono put out that tweet. That's where you got it from.
Okay.
But that changed.
Okay.
So I think that I have a hunch that all the Tier 2s were going to have OQs. I have a hunch. but I'm not gonna. I don't know. I don't have a relationship with Helix. They're new to this space, so
Yeah.
Sure.
we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we'll end up we'll have to see. It's still a little bit ways in the future. But yeah, I think one thing's for certain: if you qualify for Cup, you are much easier to talk about, and you're much easier
Mhm.
to fit into that conversation about who
Yeah.
is going to qualify in the end.
Good boys,
All right.
Ezreal hits different. Moving
True.
on.
Okay, so from here on out, we're getting into the teams where we're just gonna waffle on about for a while. So here's what we're gonna do. Talk about one team. Raafa's going to talk about one team, and then Cubby's going to talk about one team
Oh,
remaining. I
can
think we
can
all
I pick Sun with the upcoming ones? I do have something here on Sun.
No.
Wait, you have something
No.
here on
What are-
Sun?
Never mind. You mean Conviction Sun, right?
Yes,
Okay.
Oh,
that's fine.
I thought you were going to pick Gaming Esports X.
I will when we get there.
All right, then Cubby, you get two teams then. I'm going to talk about one team first, and
Go
then
f-
Cubby
who-
can go, and then Raafa can go with one team, and then Cubby
I
can do
think
the last
I think
one.
like we can like run through them all. But, like one of us just talks about each one.
I was just gonna
If you know anything.
I was just gonna go right through and talk about only a few more, if that's okay.
Okay, then do we have anything to say about Zodiac?
No.
Okay, I have something to say about Sun. Dragon Jindy is really good at jungle. And I think that
Sweet.
he is the star player on this team. And they have
Colin is a returning veteran also. He played in academy.
I think Dragon Jindy and Colin, they might be able to surprise the team in one of the OQs and might sneak in.
Also, for those that don't know, Ariandel, for any CeeLo fans, is actually Descarton, who renamed
Yep.
during the
Very nice.
off-season. He, after participating on UC Irvine in prior years, he bounced around between teams, including Team Clarity and Conviction Esports, which I believe why he is still on or under this org. So, Descarton was a strong player within the collegiate scene at his peak. During amateur, it has not looked as great, but, you know, as someone who worked with him, I like him a lot as a person, and I think he has a good work ethic, so, you know, I don't expect this team to make it into OQs, but, you know, hoping for the best.
Anything to say about Conviction Moon?
Nope.
Ivan J. Yang's fresh out of high school. This is his first split playing competitive and amateur, or at least attempting to, and I think kid's got a lot of promise. Pater's Ducks.
All right.
Also
This is
known...
my team. This is my team that I'm going to pick.
ISU. Okay.
Yep. So ISU is here under the name Pater's Ducks. I'm pretty excited about this team. I think of all the remaining ones, I think this is the only one that jumps out to me as one that could actually make it into Cup. I like this bottom lane a lot. I think Disconnector Nausicaa is pretty cool. Disconnector played in the scouting rounds last year on one of the Wily Coyote teams. Drew Dozer has a funny Twitter. And yeah, I think this is a team.
Meme.
Yeah, I think this is a team that has a lot of built-in synergy already. They've been playing together for a while. That could be enough to actually get them into Cup. Well, do I think they'll do well in Cup? Probably not. But I think of the remaining ones, this is the one that I would have as a quote-unquote dark horse remaining.
Okay.
Shout out to Pater.
Mine's different. I think ISU, Drew Dozer is a pop-off player, and in collegiate, he pops off a lot. It's amazing. I don't think that he can do the same pop-offs in amateur, and if he doesn't pop off, the team doesn't win. They play too sloppy. So I don't have them getting through. But I'm love to see more collegiate teams competing, and I'm bummed to not see Winthrop, even though I do know that Saskio is retiring or graduating with his master's.
And Doxa's gone.
And Dox is gone, yeah.
The Throps are flaccid.
All right, Homeless Prodigies.
Some of these players played in the scouting combine. I got to watch some of it. That's all I'm gonna say.
TC Porsche is from Dark Allegiance, who upset Maryville in Cup last season and plays in
Gangplank guy.
Yes, Gangplank Shen.
Yep.
That is all I remember.
Very good at those two champs. OQ Randoms. Great
Riverside also has a funny Twitter.
Great
all I
name. OQ Randoms is a top tier OQ name if you don't have an org. Unreal. Well done.
I will say that Riversided, even though he did not attend Cubby and Kelsey's very cool and informative Cup branding seminar, it looked like he went back in the YouTube VOD and got the VOD because
his Twitter's popping.
Yeah, his Twitter's popping. He came up with a very well-informed Twitter post about who he is as a player. So, good stuff. All players should take from his example if they don't already have a brand.
Okay. My favorite to upset someone in OQs and possibly sneak in, if there's going to be one, is actually Last Resort with the return of Sarcasm, along with Dijarmaga. I don't know. I never know how to pronounce the IGN.
It is
Jar.
Jar.
Oh, Jar.
It is. It's like a J-ish.
Jarmaga.
Jarmaga.
Thank you. I did not know that. I've never
You
cast
You
that
do
name.
a slight little D at the beginning, and then you sweep it away with a J sound. Anyway.
I didn't know that. Thank you, Smacks. I've never casted over that name, and I just kind of avoid it because I don't want to have to say it. But he's actually he's been an okay bid laner in past OQs. Sarcasm's back. Best poutine oftentimes lanes with Good Boy. They're not a duo. And so I'm curious to see how him in practice look. But I think that if any team can run upsets in OQs, this might be mine that I'm siding with. So yeah.
I've just realized that this is TSM Sarcasm that we're seeing.
Yes, sir.
That's who this is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't realize that until just now.
Mm-hmm.
Just for people to like, he was never on TSM. It's just that is his IGN and solo queue.
Very interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Yeah. I'm excited for that. I like TSM Sarcasm.
Yep. So that's big. And that's why I have them as my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're getting down to the Raafaa team. We got one more. Scouting for pro scene.
Nope, nothing to say.
Yep, nothing
Sorry.
here. But Raafaa, take it away with
Kids will.
Seed 24.
Yeah! Super Sunshine Fruit Basket Motherfucking Warriors, the return of the sequel. It is the second iteration. We have Azio, who is by far the best graphic designer of all of amateur. We have Azog, who is role swapping from AD to mid, which I'm very excited about because he was one of the few bot lane players that pulled out Nico. And sometimes Nico AD, but a lot of times just straight up Mage Nico as a certain counter pick in niche situations along with Dean. You have Chookies, who is a support that has worked with two of these members on this roster before. K Shuna, known more for his league Twitter and his dank memes and being a dank memer in Twitch chat, but now he is coming from the depths of solo queue to smurf on people and show what he's got. I actually have no idea how he plays, but I'm just expecting greatness right out the gate. And the most underrated jungler in all of Proving Grounds that is coming back to claim his title, the #1 Lee Sin on the fucking server. It is your boy, Mr. Daddy Waddy Kitsuo Nguyen. Dad for short.
You said Daddy Waddy.
Yes, he's going to kill me when he hears this, but you know what?
I'm going to kill you.
Mr. Kit. Mr. Kit. Ladies
so
and
is
gentlemen.
this is your dark horse then? Yeah.
Yes. Super Sunshine Fruit Basket Warriors 2 unironically are going.
But I love it.
Unironically, this team will make it in through as one of the top 16 teams into Challengers Uprising.
All right,
no cap.
Clip it. Raafaa does this every time. If he says it, it is the spoken word. He will gap us. He will just be right. Yep. And then he will rub it in our face that he is right.
Something
even though we have no idea why.
You know what? I hope you're right. I hope Super Sunshine Fruit Basket Warriors 2 do that.
Between the graphic powers of Azio and the big brain coaching and drafting from Kitsuo, because this is essentially Super Sunshine Fruit Basket Warriors 1 combined with the best of Frostfire from last year in SGC 2020. You have to remember that Frostfire was a team that almost, in a best of 5, took down a new esports. It was Challengers Uprising semifinals. They almost knocked them out. Unfortunately, it came to Game 5. They were not able to clutch it out, and I got very emotional on stream, as Cubby and Smacks will remember. They thought I was memeing, and
Classic
they went
Raafaa.
back.
Absolutely,
and
I did.
And they realized, oh God, Raafaa, I didn't realize you were actually crying, and I was, because
That's the most embarrassed I've ever been.
between Kitsuo and Robbie Bob and Heike Savage, those 3 are the first 3 players I ever met and made friends with in the amateur scene before I even knew about amateur esports, because they were in the First Blood Discord server. So I have
All right.
And for those who have been asking, well, why do you think so highly of Kitsuo if he's not been playing in amateur? He's been smurfing in Twitch Rivals, and he's just been dedicated to streaming and solo queue so far, but I know that he is more than ready, and I don't care if the stigma of players being quote-unquote washed up. Kitsuo is a very smart player. He thinks about the game a lot. He is very creative with drafts, and especially in a meta now where things are changing up and there's a lot more picks, this is like Morgan level of wildcard level of mad scientist stuff that we're going to be seeing out of Super Sunshine Fruit Basket Warriors. They do not play the game traditionally.
So Kitsuo did do draft for them, but
Yes.
a lot of the way that they played the game differently was because of Quas and Dean when that team was at their
That's
best. And that's where a lot of their identity came from, between their pools and kind of like how they played the map. I don't think you can repeat that here, and I don't have faith in the role swap. I love these 5 guys. They're really fun. I think Kitsuo is really good at League. I don't have him getting through. But that's very much the way that I feel about the next team as well. Rock 2, Fire Theft,
Rock
RMC,
2.
Wisp. Huge fan of you guys. Do I think you guys are a good enough squad to get through? No, sorry. It's really competitive.
Shout out to Wispy, man.
Yeah.
Glad he's back.
Dude, the Enchantress play is OP.
Yeah.
And
I-
hey,
Wispy's cool.
also-
Enchantresses are coming back. Morgana
Very-
Rumble really bad into Enchantress play.
Very funny that Kashuna is the owner of the Rock server and he's not on the Rock team because
That's
he's
pretty
on
funny.
Super Sunshine for Basket
Well, so
Warriors.
the funny
That's
thing
hilarious.
was that when rosters were first being formed, there was an iteration that involved Kishuna and Chookies on the Rock team. But
Now they're
I'll have to-
Warriors.
I'll have to talk to Kitsuo to see how this team was involved, because I'm so damn confident that they're getting into OQs through OQs that I want to make sure that I know my shit and I know my history about this team. Once we start
you
talking
better.
about them on broadcast, so I will say, and I don't want to take too much time, but there's between Anchor and then later down the list Zadex. I'm very happy to see them competing, because these are 2 junglers that they don't necessarily quote unquote compare to the top levels of jungler, the level of junglers in the entire OQs, but they were, when I first got into casting League of Legends, they were some of the top junglers in Risen Esports in the early iterations of Champions. So it's cool to see them still competing, and I hope that they can at least make a solid impression.
Cool.
All right. Not much else to say about Rock 2. Striking Vipers, I don't have too much there.
Sorry, not familiar with the players. Same with Chili
Uh,
Mountain.
I have a couple of old friends on Chili Mountain Wolves. I remember hanging out with Doubtful and Klexo a bit. Those are old Akuma names. Shout out to them. But yeah, I don't think they're gonna make it through. 28 though. So Cubby, very interesting thing about Gaming Esports X. Would you like to know what the interesting thing is?
Yeah. Well, what's up, Smacks?
This is a team for the first time in League of Legends history, where 2 of the players were previously coached by Cubby, and 2 of the players were previously coached by Smacks.
No way.
Way.
I didn't know the second part. You hid that from me.
We have a combined caster alum core on this team that
Dude,
is unmatched.
No wonder they're gonna get fucking blown out. Okay.
No, man.
It was too
first
low
place
hanging
in Cup.
a fruit to take the joke. I took a cheap shot at my players. They've taken a lot of cheap shots at me this year, which I like the jabs. Now to say nice things about my guys. So Cleve and Gatsade, who has also gone by Chang Yun or Troy 1 in solo queue, they're my support and mid respectively for collegiate. I've had a great group of guys this year. A couple good things about both. Troy is the best point of view perspective I've ever watched outside of Pro League. I think that Troy mechanically is insane. He knows how to play his lane matchups down to a T, and his champion pool will be good enough to catch, like, he can play multiple styles. And I encouraged a couple of my players to participate in this. They're not the only ones participating, and I'm really happy to see them taking me up on it. The support is Cleve. I've worked with Cleve a lot because he's a support as well, and this kid DMs me every 2 weeks like, hey, I feel like I'm playing like shit. What else do I need to do to improve? And I'm like, all right, like, here's like 1 or 2 things. And in the next scrim, the next day, all of a sudden, he's roaming mid more, which is pretty much all I tell him to do. So I really, really enjoy both of them on a team. They push me to be better. I'm really glad they're participating in this. And Cleve has gone from Diamond 4 in October to this. So special shout out to him, as I think his account right now is like 200 or 300 or he's a master now. So happy to see them participating. They aren't going to make it through, but good guys. So yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
For those wondering, the players that I used to coach were Axum and Atinio.
Mm-hmm.
Great guys.
I remember Atinio. Yeah. I think
Atinio's really good.
Yeah, Atinio's. When I came and casted with Mr. Smaxy for the first time in League Redacted, he mentioned to me and talked to me about Atinio. I was like, dude, between Atinio and Griffin, these are 2 really awesome players.
Cleve said he's pretty cracked.
Yeah, Atinio's very good.
Future. So, like what Cubby and Smacks have said, this team probably doesn't make it at all, but I think there are some cool gems that can be developed just from this roster, and
who are they playing
hopefully
against?
I think the important thing about this open qualifiers before we continue is there are very strong players, strong individual players that are not on great rosters, but hopefully through the power of networking and being able to play against other teams and better teams, that those players will remember them and say, hey, you know what? That team was really piss easy to defeat, but that one AD was pretty good.
So fun fact, that's how this
they're
roster
playing
was
against
made,
Resolve.
because this is the best players out of the second pool of the wildcard roster that, at least according to Cleve, that he enjoyed playing with.
Oh.
So, sweet.
Yeah. Okay, that's about all I have to say about those guys. Love them as humans. Don't think they get through. And Gaming Esport X,
great name.
7.5 out of 10. It's pretty good.
Perfect.
Glaive Esports, anything about them?
You
Whoa.
can't skip over 29. Cubby. Yeah, so
Chili
Smacks
Mountain
and I,
Chipmunks.
Yes, Smacks
There
and I.
are
Evil error here.
A Zethal error.
Yeah. So Smacks and I actually have casted for a couple of these players in Cloud9. 3 of them in Cloud9 Training Grounds.
Okay.
These are
Retired
youngsters.
Kled, Jofu Joestar, and Zethal were all a part of Cloud9 Training Grounds, which is a league of high schoolers. And Zethal, I believe, was on the winning team, the most recent one.
High school?
That's beginning of April, yeah.
Good for them.
They're high schoolers.
Good for them.
Yeah. This Retired Kled is super cracked. It is actually super cool. There's no way that this roster makes it out, but I think this is an amazing opportunity for these players to make a name for themselves and get their feet wet into competing against the best of amateur talent.
Yeah,
right?
good for them.
It's just awesome that they're here. I'm super pumped about it.
Also, there's a reason why this dude's name is Retired Kled, because his Kled is actually like
It's nuts.
insane. Yeah.
For
really
Glaive
nuts.
Esports Prime, Inch7 was a sub top laner for Team Fish Taco last split of Proving Grounds and is now playing support.
I thought his name was Inches Evan.
That could be it too.
Yeah, Inches Evan used to
Anyway.
be was not a support.
Yep, he
in-
played
when
top.
I used to, yeah, I remember casting him in Risen back.
Oh, this team has Zaddy.
Yeah, Zadix. Yeah.
Nice.
So Zadix is the earliest I remember casting him was Fruition Esports second team, which had the likes of, I think, Loki Dosi and Tilted.
Yep.
As well. Good team. Very cool team.
Sweet. Yeah. I like Zadix. Great guy. Pool B rejects. Are we sure that this isn't the Pool B of wild card? Because you've got one of your players on here as well, Cubby.
Plot X.
Yes, I do. Plot X. Some of these guys are from Pool B of Wildcard as well.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell by the name.
Yes.
Plot X
Is
our
it Plot
sub-support.
X or is it Pluto? Which one
It is
it?
Plot X, confirmed. And,
Okay.
yeah, it's not just Plux's alt account is the other one that he always gets.
True.
Nick is a freshman. Nick went from Diamond 2 to Master Tier. His rel is insane. And he is, I could not ask for a better sub. Because him and Kyle are both really good. And I'm glad that he is participating in this tournament as well. So yeah.
All right. And then we also have the last team, Seed 32, which is Coney and Friends. I have exactly one thing to say about this team, and that it is Platypus is role swapping yet again. He is he's in mid lane now somehow.
Oh, wasn't he a top laner? Top laner before
Yes,
this?
he's a top lane main, and he played support for Frostfire last year.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Once
because Dean. Yeah, where's Dean? I don't know, but Platypus is here. So yeah, that's it. For the
That's a great
OQ1, it is now time for one more team that we need to announce. This is the team that starts with the letter G. This is a team that will be playing in OQ number 2. It is Golden Guardians Academy. They are back to Challengers Uprising as an
That's
academy
right.
team.
That's
And-
what you meant.
This was announced today, but the roster for this team will include Rosethorn, Yunbi, and Prismal, who were the members of the team last time. They now are joined by previous LCS players Niles and Newbie on the team now.
If they
We
are
get to cast Niles again.
if they're in OQ2, they will run that OQ and they will make it.
Yeah. They will be the best team in that OQ. 100%.
Unless something disastrous happens to like Zeus or Wildcard, yeah, you correct.
Yep.
They will run that OQ.
I'm super pumped that we get to cast Niles again. If he does get into Challengers Uprising, should happen. Also, Prismal's back, which is super sick. We might get to see the run back of Prismal versus Shoryu, which was a banger matchup that we got to see 5 games of. And yeah, just really, really glad that they're back. Obviously, the stakes for this team are significantly lower as far as like their season is concerned. However, we got to see just how much this team improved last split, just playing in as much as they possibly could. They're attempting to do that again, it seems, and they are going to get some more reps with the roster shakeup. I think this is going to be really cool. I'm hoping that more academy teams are in, but so far this is the only one.
So Niles is obviously someone that the three of us are a little bit closer to. Him coming from amateur and collegiate. I know from from talking with Niles, like he is, obviously bummed. But
Understandably so.
also I think that he should have probably started at this level in the first place, just based on like Tenacity got the best of him all of last year, and Tenacity wasn't ready to be an LCS top laner. Tenacity was ready to be a pretty solid academy top laner, right? I think that we're going to see Niles be that solid academy top laner, and I'm really hoping that Niles, with his split of what I expect to be a split of playing in academy, gives him the Viper effect, which is you get more games. And Niles, when he's playing carries and running kids, let's get his confidence back. And let's get him back to going for the plays that I'd love to see from Niles, which is him picking the carries and playing as mechanically well as he can in lane, and then carrying games from there. So that's my hope.
That being said, I think we can all agree that, maybe it would have been best for Niles to start out in academy, but that LCS spring split that he had, I think it's still valuable experience for him regardless.
Oh God, yeah.
And
For sure.
And I think it's a humbling experience as well, because when you are one of the top 2 amateur top laners, if you were to go into the academy, or top 3,
Rodolph.
Oh, that's right. Man, where's Rodolph? Anyway, for Niles to have had experience playing against the likes of Impact, oh my God, why can't I think of
Someday,
Team Liquid's...
Alfari,
yeah. I like playing against Alfari alone, should have expanded Niles' horizons about the way you play the game, right?
Yeah.
And
he also got to work with an arrow, which who better to do that with? Like an arrow's got to be one of the best people to work with in the entire scene.
Absolutely. So obviously it's a bummer to go from here and then down to here, but in terms of overall progression, it's still better than still being an amateur.
Yeah.
And after being in CLOL. So this is an opportunity for Niles to take what he learned in LCS and to now strive to prove to be one of the better, if not, his goal of being the best top laner in Academy. And since Proving Grounds, the tournament will merge all teams together to be the best top laner by the end of the circuit. So that is his goal. So we will see, and we'll be checking in how that journey goes.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I hope they play. I want to see some more of them. I've been itching to see more Prismal gameplay, especially. He was probably my favorite player that I watched all of the split, all the spring split, just off of gameplay alone. I absolutely loved watching Prismal play every single game. So hoping that we get to see more of that.
I personally thought that Prismal would be moved up.
Yeah,
because I know that the roster needed leadership, and Prismal we know is a shot caller, and I thought that he was fantastic in Academy. They decided to go with a different call. That's fine. They know better than we do, right? But I think that this was a bit of a surprise, community sentiment-wise, that Chime was booted up. I've heard amazing things about Chime. I thought Chime played really well, but I thought that Prismal and Chime played really well. So, yeah.
Super pumped for Chime. It's Chime time, baby. Okay, we have gone through all the OQ teams. We have past midnight now, where I am anyway.
Good night.
But we have 2 more things to do on this stream. The first of which is going to be a prediction game. Not gonna be too insane with this. It's not gonna be a tier list. What we're gonna do is we're going to predict what 2 teams make the cup finals and which team wins it. As I've proposed this, I've already selected mine. We're gonna go around. I'll go first with this. So, my 2 teams that I think are going to make the cup finals are Evil Genius's Prodigies and Resolve. and I think that Resolve is going to win.
A rematch of the Risen final, or did they ever? Which semi?
No.
Barrage ran them every time, but
Their third
they
place
played in
match
the semifinal together or against each other. I want to say.
I think it was in the third place match of Risen. But
Oh,
that's my prediction. I think that the finals is EGP and Resolve, and I think Resolve wins Cup. The reason for that is I think Resolve comes into this tournament as the best team right now. I think that they have already an immaculate synergy. I think Array's going to fit into this team really well. I think that they already have a pretty good play style, and I'm really really high on this team. They were obviously a top 3 amateur team at the Proving Grounds playoffs, including No Org, who won the whole thing, and Evil Genius Prodigies. And I think that this team is going to win Cup because they come in with the strongest starting point. I also think the Evil Genius Prodigies have a strong starting point too. I'm going to buy into the hype for Skytech. I believe Kelsey. I also am super pumped for Shoryu. So that's mine. That's my finals. That's my winner.
I think that I have nothing to go off of, and my opinion will likely change very fast once I do have actual data. I think the 2 best rosters on paper are Wildcard and Zeus, and I will take Wildcard over them for my prediction.
Sounds good. We've already heard your reasoning on why you think those teams are strong. Anything else you want to add for that right now?
I think Arrow is a cheat code in amateur against all but like 2 or 3 AD carries that are here. One being Shoryu.
Sweet.
Also, GGA, we'll see what kind of matchup they get, or if they want to play or make it. But they aren't on my list, even if they do play. So. All
right. Mark, what you got?
Hang on, I'm answering something.
Yeah, no problem.
Just remind me of the prompt, like, what are predictions for the entire circuit?
So, no. Just Cup.
Just for first tournament.
Cup finals and who wins it. Yep.
Cup finals, who wins it?
I like slouched down as a joke once you announced predictions, and I didn't fix it. So we're back.
I think
Posture check.
I am going to make. Fuck, man. I have to be serious. I can't just meme.
Super Sunshine Fruit Basket Warriors 2.
Man, I really want to just be like, fuck it, guys. We're going all the way. But I genuinely, I think that Super Sunshine I was about to say Super Sunshine Frostfire.
That would have been a pretty funny name if they went with that.
I genuinely think that Super Sunshine will not only make it into top 16, I think they will make it to quarters, but then they will get knocked out at that point. But it'll be a good enough start, and then they can always improve in Risen and Helix. The finalists will have Evil Geniuses Prodigies and man, it's so hard to pick between 2 because what could happen is if, like, I could say Resolve, and then Resolve and Evil Geniuses Prodigies play early on in semifinals, and so then therefore one of them gets knocked out, right? But it really could be. Fuck, man. Oh, we'll go EGP, and I'm gonna go with God. I'm gonna get flamed in the Resolve chat, but I'm gonna go with Zeus Gaming.
I didn't pick Resolve.
Yeah,
that's true.
I'm going with EGP and Zeus Gaming as our finalists.
Who wins?
As of now, I'm going to take EGP over Zeus Gaming.
All right.
So, but
We've all got different teams
So
winning
as
it
long
all.
as long. Oh, okay. Yeah, you do. Okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's exciting. Sweet. All right, that was fun. Okay, that's our final prediction for the evening
It's
and our
super
final
episode.
final content bit. Yes, this episode's been very long. We have an announcement for everyone, though. This announcement is not anything too crazy, but we do want to support the OQ and support the teams that are playing in it. So, with that being said, tomorrow and Tuesday evening, the three of us, when Rafa and I are done with our gig in the afternoon, will be streaming some of the OQ games over here on this channel. And because Challengers Uprising is not streaming any of the games, that will be the only way to watch them. So
Unless other people are doing OQs, which I know a lot of people are trying
Yeah.
to do. So
but
correct.
we're gonna try to pick games that are not being streamed at all.
Well, we'll
So-
have OQs on here. Yeah.
Yep. So if you want to watch some Challengers Uprising OQ action, check it out tomorrow. They start at 6 p.m. Eastern time both days, and we will be streaming
At that
two
time,
best of threes.
you guys are stuck with me until
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until we are done with our thing.
yeah. Also,
We don't know
I'm
when
seeing-
that's gonna end. But
I'm seeing a request from Tom Shu to document them. We will try to document OQs if the unofficial PG circuit account is not. So
also, yes, that we will keep everyone updated on Twitter for that. That's a good idea.
Also
Let's
seeing a
let's
lot of
actually do
owners
that
and
for sure.
managers in here saying that they're broadcasting OQs, which is awesome. And if that
Yes,
is the
that's
case,
great.
we will most likely not be broadcasting those games just to make sure that we get a
Yeah.
game out there that's not known of.
We actually already have we already have a bracket that we've picked out for tomorrow.
Yes,
so,
we do.
Yeah. So that one we're doing. Our first game will be the Resolve versus Gaming Esport X. For full nepotism factor.
You're gonna force me to watch my boys get smacked by Resolve.
Or I'm gonna force you to watch your boys smack Resolve. Probably not. It's probably
that'd be pretty pug.
but yeah, we're probably just gonna do
I like
that
players, but
sector of the bracket for tomorrow.
Resolve's
So
pretty
if anyone else is streaming it, then you don't have to worry too much about that. But yeah, it'll be a fun time.
we will also
So-
we will 100% update you if there are any upsets too. Whether
Oh, yeah,
or
for sure.
not that is on the PG account, like the unofficial PG account. We will keep you posted with upsets on the whatever games we're casting. You're stuck with me until
So-
Rafa and Smacks finish their gigs, so root for their gig to finish fast.
So hang on. Hang on. So what you're telling me is we are not broadcasting the Super Sunshine. Oh no, wait. Are we? Are we doing the Super Sunshine Warriors games?
I don't think so. Are we?
Fuck. Man.
Yeah, we're doing so
actually,
we're doing
you know
Resolve
what?
versus Gaming Esport X, and then the winner of C9 Amateur OQ randoms.
Actually, I have cast or cursed Kitsuo so many times in the past. I remember this now. So, like, every time that I've casted for Kitsuo on stream, he has lost. So,
Yeah.
it is best that we don't look at those games.
Rafa's Kitsuo record is down bad.
It is like
is
I'm going
O-
through my.
It's
It is
cold streak.
It's like at least 010 at this point,
It's
which is
pretty
really
absurd.
atrocious. It's really atrocious because every time that I casted Kitsuo with Alk Battery and like a First Blood or a Revolution Gaming's finals, Kitsuo was like by far one of the best junglers and one of the best performing players. Get to finals, Kitsuo like chokes, and it's like, no, what is happening, man? Like, why?
Even before like I knew you. Like we'd like be at a call and be like, man, every single time Kitsuo plays and I cast him, man, he loses, and I get so sad.
And
It's a
that's
tragedy.
why I thought, oh man, they're gonna beat Anu because I'm not casting. I'm just the fucking host on the desk. And then they
Still cursed it.
lost. And then they lost it. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck, man.
Well,
All right.
see
So-
tomorrow.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna have to find out tomorrow. Definitely tune in for that. Speaking of casting, we're probably not gonna really cast those games. So
We're
don't
gonna
expect
talk over it.
anything too wild. It's mostly just gonna be us hanging out. And that way Cubby gets to save his voice when it's just him. So
Yeah, I'm not gonna be. I might play by play a little bit as a mid. But
oh yeah, that'll be good. I'm sure we get some good clips out of
yeah,
that.
we're not gonna like try cast or anything. We're just gonna be kind of piss chilling.
Yep.
Be fun.
I believe that is it for the show, though. This has been a really long episode of the Proving Grounds Pod.
For Raafaa.
Shout outs to Raafaa.
Well,
thanks for being here, man.
We also have to let him give shout outs if he wants to, because he's the guest.
Yeah. Any thing you want to promote for yourself?
I mean, I'm at RaafaCasts everywhere except TikTok. I'm not on that platform, and I probably never will be until things about the people in control change. But
data, let's go.
Other than that, the only other thing I will have to shout out is watch Proving Grounds and support amateur players, ladies and gentlemen. Summer Circuit is going to be a banger. Spring was all. I can't wait for summer to begin. And thanks for having me on the show, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, with that, this has been another episode of Proving Grounds Pod. You will be able to catch us back in the swing of things either this Thursday or next Thursday. We are locking it in. Proving Grounds Pod in the summer split of Proving Grounds will be Thursdays. And we're not going to do anything too crazy like the Super Week that threw us all out of whack. This time it is just going to be Thursdays. Cubby, I promise. I will not do that again.
5 for 7. I could do multiple episodes a week, but yeah, that was whack. Yeah, we'll start doing some more regular content, some more than last year too. So it's gonna be good.
Some stuff to look forward to over here at the Proving Grounds Pod. This will not be the last you see of us. I promise we will not go AWOL for another month. We are getting ready for Proving Grounds summer, and we are just excited as all of you, if not more so. Because, yeah, we're just super pumped about NA League of Legends. But anyway, that'll be it for this episode. You can find us on a bunch of different platforms. We got YouTube, we got Twitch, we got Spotify, Apple, Google, Anchor, all those. Those are our audio platforms. You can also check us out on Twitter at pgroundspod. We're going to be posting a lot of stuff. We're going to be posting some updates for you all for the OQs for Cup. Hopefully we can do that. I realize now that I am pushing that responsibility onto Cubby because I will be busy. So hopefully Cubby doesn't shoot me in the leg for this. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We will be back soon. Please, please, please tune in tomorrow. Doesn't just support us, supports the players and everything. We're going to give them an outlet to watch them. And I'm really excited about it. We get to see some more action. Tomorrow, the 17th, the next split of Proving Grounds is starting tomorrow. Get hyped. Get excited. I am. Woo! We're going to be there. Hope you are too. See you tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.